So today we will be talking about AWS Athena. Amazon Athena is an interactive query service. For creating of SQL queries, we would be using somewhat tools like Oracle online website or SQL Workbench. So Amazon provides something similar to like that. Over there we can query on our database and all. So advantages of Athena are it is easy to implement. We would be having a walkthrough so we can see it over there. It is pay per use, so how many times we run the query, that would be there, and it's very fast and secure. The next is the workflow that we would be having. First we would be creating our S3 bucket and uploading the files. Next we would be going to our Amazon Athena, and then there would be a two process where we would be having crawler and another process is by manual. Then and finally we would be doing the query. So now let's jump to the demonstration part. Log into your console and just check about your region. Check your region, you're in the specified region. So for our first step is over here to create S3 bucket. So we would be going bucket. We have to create two buckets. One would be our source bucket and one would be our destination bucket. So we would be creating it. So the bucket name I have mentioned over here is source phone data, a source, and one would be a destination as mentioned. Phone data is because we would be using Athena to crawl the data of a phone data region, confirming with the region. We don't need the ACL enabled, so we would be keeping it default. Rest everything would be default, and simply would be creating the bucket. And in the similar step, we would be creating one more bucket, which would be our destination. So we would be clicking over here. So here we have step is to add our file in our source. So we would be clicking on upload. So we can simply drag our file and select over here. So we can see our phone data is here, its destination is here, and we would be clicking on upload, and the file has been uploaded. We can see it's over here. So this is our Excel file which we have. We have rating, review text, brand, sentiment. So once we are done with this, our next step is to go to AWS Athena. So we would be typing over here Athena. You would be selecting it. Okay. So we are in our AWS Athena dashboard. Our first step before starting with anything over here, we have to simply go to our settings tab. And over here we have to click on manage. In our manage settings, we would be clicking on browse, and remember we have created a destination, so we would be selecting that over here, because all the queries which we have created and we have used, the data would be stored in our destination. So we need our destination. We will select it and simply have to click on save. So this is an important step which we have to remember, because by default we have to mention our destination. Yes, so we have changed it and you can see it has been reflected over here. Now we would be going to our editors tab. Again, now we would click on create to create tables and views. So AWS Athena provides us two ways to create the tables. One is by S3 bucket option, and one is by its default, where it would be created automatically by the AWS Glue crawler. First we would be creating it by S3 bucket. So simply we have to mention our table name, suppose phone data table. Since we have to create a new database, we would be mentioning our database name, phone data DB, and here we would be mentioning our location, where is our source. So we would be selecting our source from here. Next comes our which we will select our data format. Over here, since our file format was CSV, we would be selecting our CSV from here. And next comes our column name. So here we would be mentioning our column name by default, like from our data. So one was rating. So the whole process which we are doing over here is what we call manual. Was to text, and we would be selecting its data type as varchar. Let's mention the length as 500. Next was the brand. What we are doing over here is the whole process is manual, and finally we would be having this, and we can click on create table, and it would be created. We would be clicking on create table, and our table would be created. This is one way, and we can see our phone data is over here, and we have our table. This is one way. Let's go with the second way, which is automatic. So first we would be creating a table, or we can simply keep this table, and we would be creating a new table. So a new tab would be open, and we can mention our crawler name. Our table name over here. Next, data source. Let's keep everything over here default. Next is our data store. So our data is stored in S3 bucket. So you would be selecting S3. There are many different options which we can have, but right now we are with S3. Our file. So where is our file in S3 bucket? That would be selecting it over. It's in our source, and rest everything would be normal, and we'll be clicking on next. Add another data store. No. So to access to our database, we would be creating an IAM role. So let's create a name. Next. So there are many different options on how frequently we have to crawl our data, hourly, daily, or weekly. Right now we would be clicking on demand. So whenever we would be clicking on it, it would be creating our table. So next, don't have, we can click on add, and we can have a data. Phone data we already had, so we would be adding another name, that is phone data db2. Everything would be normal, and let's and have a review of all the data. Our crawler name, the destination, the role which we have created, time, and the database name. We click on finish. Now it's ready. We can switch to a new console if we require. We can see the state is ready. Now we can select it. Since we have mentioned it to be run on when we click on it, so we have to click on it to run it, and now it has been started. Let's go back and refresh it. It's stating running. It would take some time depending on how large the data is. Now we can see it's in the stopping state, so it has been created. We can refresh it. It's stopping. Let's go back to our Athena, and over here we can refresh it. And now we can see another database is ready, and the table has been selected. Let's verify it. You can select a table, and you can click on preview table, and yeah, we are done. You can see a rating, review text, and brand and sentiments. All the values are here, and over here we can play with the queries. Normally we do in SQL and other. We select only the brand name. Let's run it. Yes. See all the brand. Oh, since the limit is there. The query which we are running it's select brand, where the brand name is Apple. Let's run it. Everything is like how we can play with SQL queries and all. Alright. See, the ratings which we had been given by the user are bad, which we can see 1-1. That's it. Thank you everybody.